Hey guys, welcome to Coptalks. Today I want to talk about a really useful tool that I feel like a lot of officers either don't have access to or do have access to and don't use fully, and that is a body camera. So there's a lot of mixed feelings out there with body cameras. My opinion is if you're not doing anything wrong, they're great useful tools for collecting evidence, statements, confessions, all kinds of stuff. It can really show a lot about a situation in often ways more than a report can. Now, that being said, sometimes they can burn you if you mess up. So that's just on each individual officer at that point. Anyway, this particular camera is what we're going to talk about today, and that is the MIUFLY body camera off of Amazon. Now, it's not an Amazon brand. It's just one of those random brands you can get on Amazon. And full disclosure, I purchased this camera myself about a year ago because my agency did not issue body cameras, and I really wanted to use one just for, like I said, evidence collection, accountability, and basically putting an end to rumor mills or, any kind of confrontation, because most of the times I've noticed that use of force incidences and accusations have gone way down when people see, oh, wow, this is being recorded. So it does come in handy in that aspect. So a little bit about this body camera before I start is it records in 1296p, so very decent video quality. That comes out to a 5 megapixel still camera quality. Which, nowadays doesn't sound like a lot, but for video quality, it's actually pretty decent. On the back, it does have a 2-inch display, and it's actually pretty decent quality if you're watching some of the videos, in the field or whatever. If you do that, it's got play, pause, OK button, menu button. This is where the actual clip mounts right here. On the side, you got a USB slot, a micro, I don't know if it's micro or mini HDMI port, audio video hookup, and a headphone hookup. This one right here, this side, it has a special incident button. So if something happens, you can document that, like, oh, he just said it, you can click that or whatever. It has an audio record only function, so if you're using it like a tape recorder. It's got a still camera function, so you can actually take pictures just like a regular camera. And then, of course, your video camera function. One thing I like about this is it doesn't have to be on all the time. It's got the power button up here, and it's got your light button right here. And it has a flashing indicator light here that was painted over because I work night shift and I didn't want stuff flashing in my face all the time. Now, let's say the camera's off, right? You can either hold this button down and turn it on, or if you just have it off, if you hold down the video record button, it will automatically come on. So I did really like that function. It does have 2 IR illuminators over here on front, which actually work really great. IR is such a short wavelength in the light spectrum that it doesn't travel very far. So you really only get a lot of use out of it at about 15 feet, I would say. But it's better than like 0 feet. One security concern to keep in mind is that IR illuminators show up on cameras, a lot of cameras, very well in night vision devices such as rifle scopes and head-mounted optics. And I'll go ahead and display that right now. I'll turn this on, which you can turn off that little chime in the settings, and then I will turn on the IR. This is IR. Okay, this is not visual light, this is infrared. So this is what you're wearing on your chest. It's pretty bright. So if somebody's using a night vision rifle scope, it it really lights you up like a Christmas tree, and it just gives them another target indicator. Now this camera also does have a white light function. This is just regular visual white light, which I never use. And that's white light and IR. But I never use that function, but it is available. So, hey, it doesn't hurt to have more functions as long as it doesn't take away from the overall usability. This one is the 64 gigabyte model, which was a little bit more expensive at $170 versus the $150 for the 32 gigabyte model. But I wanted to be able to record as much high definition video as I could, so I opted for the 64 gigabyte. One thing that I understand why they didn't do it, but I kind of wish they would have done it, was the ability to accept like an external memory card. It cannot do that, and that's mostly for security reasons. So somebody can't like go up to your camera when it's sitting on your desk or something, pull out the memory card, and now that video is gone. Everything is internal on this, and it is password protected. So if you go on the camera itself and you wanted to change settings, you have to type in a password, and if it's hooked up to a computer or whatever, you have to type in the password before you can alter or view any of the videos. Now, this thing does boast a 10-hour battery life. I will say, if you have all the functions on, which include GPS, high definition video, audio, and all that stuff, your battery life is not going to be as long as that. But I will tell you, I've used it throughout in a shift, being turned on and off constantly, and I've ran out of storage space before I've run out of battery. The battery on this thing does last quite a while, which I'm totally fine with. And then, like I mentioned, GPS. This does have a GPS function that shows on Google Maps, when you use the little programs and stuff, where the camera was when this video was being recorded, or this picture was taken, or this audio was recorded. It's actually a really nifty feature for crime scene reconstruction and for you know, things in court. I was standing here, this officer is standing here, boom, you have a visual diagram. This is where they were at this time. Super cool. But it can also burn you. Hey, I saw this whenever I was here, but you really weren't. Then, you know, that's on you. I will say that I've used this in a variety of weather conditions. It doesn't really get below freezing often where I'm at currently, but I have used this down to 30 degrees, and it's worked just fine. Recently, it got up to 103 degrees, and it worked just fine. It is water resistant. It is not waterproof. You cannot submerge this thing. But I've used it in rain, sleet, and fog, you know, all that stuff. And this thing has just worked just fine. One thing to note that's different about mine in particular than the actual retail model that you find is on the front here it usually says MIUFLY, M-I-U-F-L-Y, but it was like bright shiny silver letters, so I just took my knife and kind of just peeled those off just because I didn't want anything flashy kind of on the front there. Let's see, as far as things that it came with, it did come with a charging dock, a variety of clips, a USB cable for the charging dock, and then a wall outlet USB charger. It did also come with a 12-volt charger that you can use with the dock, that you can actually use this thing as a dash camera as well. So they do offer suction cup mounts for windshields and auxiliary cameras. This thing can accept an auxiliary camera, so you can have one facing backwards and forwards. Or let's say you wear this on your belt and you just want a tiny camera up on your shoulder, helmet, whatever the case may be. They actually offer an auxiliary camera. Really cool little feature there. Another thing that I really like about it is it's fairly lightweight. It weighs maybe a little bit more than a good quality shoulder mic. It doesn't really get in the way. But it is another piece of kit that you'd have to carry. This does attach to MOLLE, so this thing works great for tack vests. If your agency issues those, you can clip this right up in there and, you know, get all that juicy action. It did come with some other clips. I don't have them with me here. This is the only one I really use. It does clip right in, and it's pretty solid. So it locks in and then allows you to clip it onto a belt, shirt, whatever, works quite well. This does rotate, so if you want to mount it at an odd angle, or let's say you have to clip it into a shirt, like a button-up shirt, you can clip it in there behind the buttons and you're good to go. It's been a fantastic little camera, and I've really enjoyed using it. It's come in handy a lot. I work court security sometimes as well, so whenever you're doing pat downs on somebody or interacting with somebody in a courthouse or things like that, this thing really comes in handy, because I go straight to the lawyer with it, and then you can say, nope, that's not what happened, especially in areas where there are no security cameras. And this thing does record pretty good audio, so like you can capture those little threats murmured under their breath, or maybe an incident that occurred down the hall. A lot of times you can actually pick up that audio pretty well. I've been pretty happy with it. Let's see. Like I said, I used it for about a year. I've had no issues with it. You can download all the video to a regular computer and stuff like that. There's no special program needed to watch it. You can use any kind of media player really to review the videos. You can store them in a external hard drive and stuff like that, thumb drive, whatever. Really makes it great for giving to the DA and stuff. It really simplifies a lot of things, because you don't have to have like a special video program to watch it. And I get why they have those. It's for security reasons. If somebody else got a hold of the video outside of the department and they didn't have that program to watch those videos, it keeps it more secure. But this right here does a pretty good job of it. Let's see. Other than that, I mean, it's been a great little camera, and I recommend it. If there's any other brands that you guys can think of for like personal officer purchase, I know there's a ton out there nowadays. It's gotten way more popular than it used to be. But like I said, a lot of agencies don't issue these yet. So like mine, for instance, I purchased my own, and after using it several times, even in just regular mundane situations, it showed to have a really positive impact. So, a couple other guys bought it, and bam, here we are. Now everybody's got one. And I like I said, I personally can't recommend it enough. It's definitely helped a lot more than it's hurt. It hasn't really added anything extra I have to carry other than the camera itself. And it's been a real benefit in my opinion. So if you guys have anything else you want to ask about it, go ahead and shoot it in the comments down below. I'll see what I can do, see if I can answer it. Definitely check this thing out. It's got a lot more functions than I even talked about. I remember reading it. It can be used basically as like a game camera. If it detects motion, it can snap a still or a video. It can be used as a dash camera. It can be used as basically an impromptu security camera. It's a really cool little deal. I've really enjoyed using it, and I look forward to continue using it as long as it holds up. Like I said, it's been a year and it's held up great. We'll just see how it goes from there. Anyway, guys, if you can think of anything else, like I said, leave a comment down below. Hit me up. Like, subscribe, throw eggs at me. I don't care. Just do whatever. I don't get paid for this, but if you can think of anything else, just let me know. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you later.